We are.
We are? Okay. So I'll make a motion then that we are going to hire Chris Drought as a temporary part-time police officer to help fill the void for the police department at this point in time. He's going to have 2 paid days to ride along with Jim and Shane, 1 each. And Jim will get him into the schedule. He'll be starting out at the police department pay of the $13.79. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
That was all.
Oh, that was.
Jumped on
Okay.
it. Jumped on it. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved. Is that everything for the police department?
Should be. Except for what's on the wall later.
Ah, yeah. Mhm. Well, we can go over that quickly. In regards to what you have here for your traffic, okay,
Mm-hmm.
for your stops and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
how many would you say you let go a month on average?
Right now we're really at the 50% mark of issuing, yeah.
So these really can be doubled as far as for what? V&Ts?
V&Ts, yeah. Is really what could be just about doubled.
Okay. You
You
don't
know,
really
that's-
can't do anything else in regards to all the other ones except.
we can't, make someone drive drunk and give them a misdemeanor. We can't, we,
Just confirming.
yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
just making sure we're on the same page.
You got it. And in regards to, because I gotta still work on that darn email, get that sent to you to have your review.
Okay.
If you were to, but just so I have your general idea, if you were to estimate, say that we were able to, or that you guys were able to patrol the town as well,
Mm-hmm.
all right, and say you were able to do radar stops, say around by the old, or by the school garage, so Gulf Road, or by Cobo Well area,
Mm-hmm.
353 that way, say by Bev's over the hill
Yeah.
parking area, and then how far down does New Albion Township go down 12? Does anyone know? Is it just before the?
Well, it goes down to Pigeon Hill, or Pigeon Valley, right?
Well, isn't the line right by Nate Woodrick's place?
Yeah, Nate Woodrick and Marlene Gregory's house.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't it?
That's very helpful. Okay, so if you could have those other 3 areas as well
Mm-hmm.
to patrol, and just and this is. These aren't numbers that can be justifiable because you're saying they're a what if, but just saying what if you could, and say each night you're able to spend an hour or so, whatever random place for the town as well,
Mm-hmm.
to do radar stop. How many would you think you'd be able to get? Because nobody around here would expect to see a police car there, so
Right.
it would be very shocking.
Well, you still got the county,
Yeah,
that's around here and there.
very little.
Troopers if they need to be.
True.
They're only in Collins.
I mean, so for us, just in the village alone, say you're roughly doing 50 V&Ts. I
Right.
think for the town, you could probably do 20 enough would be pretty simple to get to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, easily. I look like I've sat, up on top of the hill here and watched people coming from New Albion and Cattaraugus, and it's a 45 for quite a ways before it goes 35.
Mm-hmm.
They're cruising at 65 easy, and it's like, as soon as they see that 35, it's like, they're going 35, because they know we're here,
Right.
but if we're village and town, and if we were to have a contract that had to work with the town as well, I think you'd see more DWIs, you'd see, more speeding tickets if that's what, came of it. I think you'd see more opportunities to
serve.
Yeah, more opportunities to serve the town as a whole. We get calls on the radio to New Albion, and it's just like, 600 feet from me, and I'm not in the jurisdiction to go there, or like the one night I covered for the county and did a car deer accident just at the Otto New Albion line.
Okay.
taken care of. I mean, the troopers were up in Erie County on some investigation there, and none of the county cars were around that night. They were all on calls.
Mhm.
I was the only one free, so they just sent me up there. I mean, that's not a big deal, but still, I'm going outside the village to help them out. I mean, that's just what we do as cops. We help each other out, back each other up all the time.
Just to finish up the police ticket revenue, does anybody?
Let me tell you this, I called the comptroller's office.
Yeah.
In regards to if there's something that the town has to do, like does the town court have to give us our share for our budget, for the village budget, you know, of the, what's she call them, statutes,
Mhm.
whatever, I think that's the term. And the lady said no. So her interpretation of everything was get a village court with a village judge and deal with that. So that's what the comptroller said, but I don't think she fully understood the situation or the question.
I mean, there's many avenues.
Maybe she's right and maybe I didn't understand her, but.
Well, I mean, there's issues that, I mean, in regards to a contract would stay in there for our service, because we're generating them revenue, then that they would, you know, whatever's done in the village, the proceeds would go to the village. They would have to do that, and.
Whatever happens in the town stays in the town, village.
Right, but we would have to trust that the court would make sure that they would do that, and they would feel like they would. But I don't think that Shannon or the clerk would.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at it this way, when we set up the computer, for any ticket writing or paperwork, through the track system, it gives us the option of what court we're writing it for. And we court option right now,
It's town.
town and Melvin. Now, the only thing that would differentiate, what part of town of Melvin it is what road it's on. So you have to pay attention to what road the traffic stop or the infraction happened, or whatever, and go from there. Button also has our department number on it. 042600, that's our department number.
Okay.
So you're wanting New Orleans to sign a contract with us to help pay for the village?
It also generates money for them as well.
Well, we already do though. Let me just play devil's advocate for a minute. I mean, they already make out like a bandit on the deal,
Right.
right? So
Why buy the
we
company
pay
number
for you, but they get all the money.
Right.
So I don't.
Well,
Right,
I mean,
and
I
that's-
mean, you can try it. I'm just saying, I
Right.
don't think they're gonna go for it.
well, when I spoke
And
to
that's the
them at their
frustrating part.
meeting on last month, and I'll go and see them again next Monday, is, present the, a contract that's both profitable for village residents and also the town, and also the town is getting that security blanket as well. It's more than just the revenue aspect, there's other things that go along with it, and the town board said that they would seriously look into it. Now, whether that they would decline it or anything, I mean, who knows, but at least we don't know what we're gonna do in the future until we at least cross this path, and then we can make decisions down the other way. So that's why I wanted everybody's idea as far as like, especially the police department, what they feel that they could contribute, what they would see, so you got more DWIs, more opportunities to serve the area, and also probably can increase the revenue for the town themselves, They're really not paying, we're just keeping the money in here that that these guys are generating
For the village.
I know,
Right.
I don't know if it was Saturday or Friday, I come from Little Valley and I got to the village bakery.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, there was a SUV behind me. It wasn't there for all the way from Little Valley, I'd never seen it, all of a sudden they were there and they went by me, I was doing 60. They went by me all of 75 to 80 mile an hour.
I'm
They
sure.
fly down that road.
Well, people always do. I mean, unless very rarely do you see a county cop coming down,
It's something that should be addressed, you know what I mean? And this is one way we all could address it, benefit, and maybe save somebody from getting in an accident because somebody got left foot.
Agreed.
And especially how many times those cows have gotten out of that frickin' pasture across from
Beaks.
the school barns there. Just saying. You wanna go 80 and all of a sudden there's an Angus right there.
That's very true. Does anybody else, or do you have anything else to add for that by chance?
No, I mean, seems like a good start as far as a route to go to try and
Possibly have a,
keep
I have
the
one question.
profiting up for
If
both
you
places.
expect them to give you revenue, what about the cost of the court? What they pay for the judge, what they pay for his training?
Oh, I'm sure that's already covered by what the county does in the state, between the troopers and
I'm
that
saying,
revenue that they get off of their DWIs, their tickets, their arrests and
but I'm just
whatever.
saying, is the town board going to look to the village for payment to help offset their costs?
well, I mean, it ultimately, what it amounts to,
Well, I'm
it's
sure
just-
it'll offset it.
I mean, is if we can't come to some type of an agreement, because what's happening is just ludicrous for how the current agreement is, the current arrangement, well, then we would have to seriously look at implementing our own justice, have it come in for once a month, have a justice and a clerk, say it costs us $500, prosecutor, and we have all these violations in the,
Or,
and I don't wanna get to that level, like it's,
We used to have our own justice.
we used to, and I can't understand
Gene,
The
how long has
logic-
it been since we haven't had one in the village?
Oh, gosh.
Was it,
Early 2000s, I think.
yeah,
That the village justice
05, 07.
Yeah,
Or it
I'd
was-
say at least 8 or 10 years.
The one,
cause I was still driving and I remember coming to the court for the
the
film.
one book I got, Shane and I were looking at, to see if the ones I had vehicle traffic, different
Right.
stuff in it. It showed they had a traffic bureau that they had brought in, they had made a traffic bureau, but then they rescinded it. And that was like.
That was from a village ordinance to a local law.
Right,
Right.
that was about the same time they got rid of the village court.
Okay.
And I think that was 2005 or 2007, I could be wrong.
I'll look at it and it's out in the car still. I was reading it the other day too. I can't remember what the date was, but.
So, does anybody else have anything to add to this matter?
Jim, could you put your name and number in my phone for me?
Yeah, I have your number. He sent it to me. I can text it to
No,
you.
but you're gonna text me?
Yeah,
Okay,
with my information.
okay, good, thank you.
You got it.
Alright. I think we're good on that then. So I will send you an email, that'll be tonight, be tomorrow,
Yeah,
and then I'll look for your feedback on that, and then I can go ahead and submit that to the town, and then,
yeah.
and I don't know, are you
Normally I
working-
would be here Monday.
You're not gonna be here next Monday?
We are, thanks to Cattaraugus Valley Schools, taking Pioneer Superintendent. I'm on Pioneer School Board. We're in a superintendent search, and that starts next Monday night.
Oh,
Instead of Tuesday night, they switched it.
okay,
So I wanted to be here for that. I'm gonna call our board president and see if she's okay with me missing the first night, since it's basically just kind of a get a feel from the public type of night, like,
okay,
here's some questionnaires we wanna hear from the public.
okay,
Information gathering night, it's not like it's, final interviews type things, which I wanna be at those, but
sounds good, so just keep me informed, let me know.
I will.
If not, then if Shane could,
I'm gonna shoot her a text right now, and, yeah,
I
if
know,
anything, I'll switch with Shane.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man.
You got it.
Appreciate everything that you guys have been doing, you guys have done a really great job.
You're welcome. Glad we can do it.
Alright, Gene, you're up.
Okay, before John left, I had a question for him. We used to get reimbursement for electric and so forth on the Blackmar well. And the last one that has been recorded was January 2015. So John was going to
I'm
contact.
pretty sure we've received since then. I can go back and check.
I
in
looked
the-
back through
in
your
Quicken.
register and that's the last one I seen.
Okay, I'll double check with Quicken. I know that there were a couple months that got bundled together that
Okay.
Joyce sent in. and it takes anywhere from a month to 2 months once the paperwork is submitted.
Yeah, because that's the last one I looked tonight before
Yeah,
I
she
came up.
submitted up through June, and then tomorrow she'll submit for July.
Okay,
So
Maybe you
I've got
can-
it added into my planner so
Is
that
it
you
just
won't
the
miss it.
Blackmore well that we get reimbursed for, not the other one?
Mm-mm.
so maybe you could contact John, because he was gonna call somebody.
Okay.
Today I sent you out an email on the reserves. I
Yes.
didn't know, with the board being new, if you knew what reserve accounts we had, what they were for. Are there any questions on that email? As far as the different reserve accounts that we have?
That's pretty self-sufficient for self-explanatory.
The one thing I would like to do at some point in time, once things start to settle down around here, is I would love for you to be able to go over the budget and be able to go over where all the money the village has and all the separate accounts and how the capital improvements and all this get calculated. This is like maybe some type of work session to be able to go over that, maybe give a presentation. But no, Bo was right though, what you said, that was very self-explanatory on how, well, at least with you clarifying like where, what the trust, like how the trust account works
Okay.
for the savings. Did anybody else have an issue?
Okay. I also sent you out earlier in the month, or maybe, I forget when it was, some information on the bonds. Comparison of the old bond and the new bond refunding to show what the savings were. Did everybody get that, and were there any questions on that?
That's the one stated May 31st, 2016.
Could be, Rick, I don't have a date on here. But it would have showed, yeah, that looks like the one I,
It was, the old bond was 12,000. Let's see if you can.
Yeah.
Hope I know.
any questions on that? It shows the savings at the end for the general and for the water. Any questions or comments on that?
No, you said you needed a motion though, right, on, was this to transfer the FEMA money?
Well, yeah, that's coming up.
Okay.
I spoke with John also during the break, before he left, and the first reimbursement for the 99,000, that was for stuff that was done 2 years ago, he said, so that basically has been spent. We did take out 41,000 for the cost of Simmons out of there, because that was a fee that was not in our budget, so that came out of there. So there is money left in there, along with the other two FEMA projects. We discussed, and John would like us to set up a separate account for the FEMA money. Then he would keep track of his bill and then tell me how much I need to transfer out of that. That way we can keep track of the FEMA money, he can see how much is left of that every time he has a project.
Okay.
So I need to know if that's something the board would like to do.
That's not an issue.
We would set up a separate savings account for road repairs, and then transfer this over, and then as John tells me he needs money, we'll transfer it over into the, but I do need a motion being that, you already did the 99,000 one.
Yeah.
But the other two, they were not in our revenue budget or expense budget, so I need a motion to increase estimated revenues by those two dollar amounts and estimated expenses by the same amount.
I'll make a motion.
What are the $2 amounts?
Yeah, we need the dollar amounts.
It's on that report I sent out, it's $8,255.89 and $153,312.04.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Unanimous, carried, approved. Rick seconded.
You made the motion?
No, Bo made the motion.
Oh, made the motion.
Rick seconded.
Second.
We're trying something new.
All this, all that money
Yeah.
goes,
Thank you.
no better at all. No,
Okay.
Then we need a motion.
Thank
for
you.
John.
we keep handling that.
Okay, then also, Rose,
Well, it's going into a separate account.
okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we set up a separate account for
Then he'll
John,
spend it.
for the FEMA
He's
money,
expecting to have money left over.
for road repair,
He told
I'll
us.
second it.
and Rick seconded it.
Good job, Rick.
All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye. It's unanimous, carried and approved, so John's, a separate account is taken care of now.
Just like that.
And the same signatories as on the other accounts, I'm assuming, correct?
Correct.
So I will be dropping off a signature card up here for you guys
Sorry.
to sign.
I
You'll
heard
need to
you.
you'll need to come in and sign it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, just
That's
make
why
it.
I'm gonna listen.
Now, I didn't know what you guys were going to do tonight. We do have to transfer money out of the general fund into the savings. But I didn't know exactly if you're gonna be setting up separate accounts. I didn't make up any vouchers for tonight. But I'd like to get it transferred into a savings and out of the checking. You're
How much?
probably looking at 250,000 coming out of the checking into the savings, plus these dollar amounts here. If I make the vouchers up, is there a problem with Rose typing up a check so we can get that transferred?
I don't see why there would be an issue for that.
I just didn't know what you were going to do, so I didn't make up any vouchers.
Well, were we gonna, make a capital improvement, for the DPW, for the streets and all of that? Were we gonna invest some to start like a capital improvement,
You were gonna have this money here, this FEMA money,
you know?
and John's gonna put it in a separate account, and he's hoping to have some left over.
Okay.
But as far as setting up a capital improvement fund, it's not in your budget. If you're gonna plan on taking money from that. You can take some of the money left over from the 99,000, which I would recommend.
How much do we have?
You would have approximately 50,000 to
Okay.
set up.
So you need a motion to take, what, 410,000 roughly from the checking into savings, okay? And then you have, and then we could do 50,000 to put into, would that be a whole new,
I would put it in, just use the account now you have for street equipment.
okay, so put that in the streets?
Where did we get 410? Where did we get 410? When
He
we were just
said-
talking 50 and 250?
He got 250, then
Yeah.
he got the 8259, and then he got the 153,312.
Ah.
So those previous dollar amounts that he gave us plus 250,000, roughly 410, whatever that exact dollar amount is.
Let's make that 250, if we're gonna put that 50,000 in an account,
Yeah,
you better drop that 250 down to 200, just to be on the safe side that we have enough in our operating fund.
okay. So then, make a motion to put, where would we transfer this 50? Would this be from the checking?
Yes.
Okay, so to transfer 50,000 from checking into the streets account, and then also the transfer from checking,
Reserve account?
Into the street equipment.
street
Equipment.
I
Street
hate
equipment.
to interrupt, I gotta ask one question. What is the 200 for though?
That's money that we got in our checking account from like collection of taxes and so forth.
Okay,
Yeah,
So
every
instead-
year, once we collect the taxes, we take that money and put into savings
Okay.
And
and
then transfer it back and forth.
as we use
okay,
it.
okay.
Okay, so I have 50,000 from the 99,000 going into streets equipment reserve.
Right, and then you got 361.5 roughly, or 7, no, 361.7 roughly.
361.7 being transferred from checking to savings.
Correct. Right?
Of 200,000 would go into the regular general checking, savings.
Okay,
Okay,
And the 161,000 will go into a separate road repair savings.
okay, so 161 going to road repair savings,
161.
right, 161, and then 200,000 going into general savings.
Correct.
Okay. Do I have to restart the whole motion? Rose?
Do you want all of these amounts in one motion?
Is that
The
an issue?
50, the 200, and the 161?
Yeah.
All in one motion, Gene?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay, so I
I'll
make,
the motion.
huh?
I'll make the motion.
I already said I made the motion. I already said it.
Okay, Jason seconds it.
Jason seconds it,
Joe just said he seconded.
but he didn't.
Okay.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, golly. Motion Dan,
Jason seconded it.
second Jason.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, carried and approved.
Can I just confirm, 50 from the 99,000 FEMA into streets equipment reserve,
Correct.
200,000 from checking into general savings, and 161 from checking into road repair savings.
Correct.
Yay.
161 plus odd change.
Right.
161-ish.
Ish. We're going with ish.
I'll do the math tomorrow.
Okay.
I assume it's the 153, 312.04 plus the 8255.89 makes the 161-ish.
You got it.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you.
And other than that,
You need
just
to-
working on the
okay.
annual report, and next meeting in August, I'll have the books available for you to look at.
Okay.
Did I see an email you sent us, said something about when John, was it $5,400?
That was 5,400, you guys made a motion last meeting to
Right.
get out of that 99.
Okay, I thought maybe, the way I read your email, I thought you said it came out of the wrong one.
Well, I thought it was coming out of 82 when I talked to John, but he said,
Okay.
Yeah. Gene, before, I don't know how long you're gonna stay with us, but for correspondence, we got something from the, we got from ECLB Little League. I guess they sent this to all, which would be Elkville, Cattaraugus, and Little Valley. They formed together and created a Little League softball this year for 11 and 12 year old girls, and I guess they're going to the state championship, and they are asking for a donation. No? Reason
State don't allow it.
they won't? Okay.
We got caught one time because we bought flowers for someone that passed away.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
That's why when someone passes away, we always ask for a donation.
I go to each board
Because-
member and get a contribution from
You're
them.
using public dollars to do something like that.
Wow.
That's sad. Do not donate. We'll need to send out, well, or I can just contact them and let them know, unfortunately, we cannot partake of that due to state law, I guess. Yeah, okay. How are we able to donate for the community picnic? Is it just,
That's a public function, a town function that you use for celebrations.
okay,
But not donating it to
individual organization, it's something that benefits the whole community, the whole residents, okay. Do you have anything else, sir?
No.
All right. Next up is events. Is there any update on the community picnic? Anybody know?
No, I know they had to reschedule their workday, but I don't know if they actually had it or not.
Okay. That's coming up. There's nothing for insurance, is there, Rose?
Nope.
Or civil defense.
Nope.
Senior citizens, we just took care of that. Or wait, did anybody have anything to,
No, that was pretty much it. No.
just the senior citizen
We did the
building?
inspection and
Ambulance?
They are working at trying to get the bricks finished on the front of the building. There was an issue with the contractor, they're trying to get him in there to get it finished. So hopefully he'll show up and do it. They are, I believe, in the process of replacing that sidewalk.
they're doing it today.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
great.
they got their parking lot, sealed, and, it looks good. Everything's coming together pretty good down there as long as they get the guy in there to finish the bricks on the front building. They got their flagpole up. and they still gotta put their bricks around, you know, the bricks that everybody, got with their names and stuff on this. Yeah, the memorial bricks, they're gonna put them down yet, but I think they're waiting till they get the sidewalk in.
Then I got a new member too.
Who's that?
Be myself.
Oh, you joined the ambulance crew now?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Library? Rose, can you also put on the, for 6, can you put on library in there as well?
For the work session?
For the reports?
Oh, for the reports, library.
I don't know how I remembered it.
Where
I
is
guess I
it?
looked at work and
That's right.
I got a reminder of it.
I'm
Do
sorry
you have
about
anything to
that.
report on?
No, they got nothing this month.
Okay. Rose, your turn.
That's why I didn't put him on the list. Okay, I attended, did I attend a webinar? I listened to a webinar, policies and procedures to manage your local government. Unfortunately, it was during the regular business day, and Joy covered the window as best she could, but when I'm at the window listening and I lost about half the webinar, so I do have the PowerPoint I can copy to the board if you're interested in any of the information, but I did get to listen to about half of that.
Did you get it, is it via email? Did you get it by email, the PowerPoint?
Yeah, they sent me an email when I signed up for the.
Can you forward the PowerPoint, I guess, via email?
They sent me a link to access the PowerPoint, so I don't know if the link is still active. But I could scan this in and email it to you. You could do that.
That would be, yeah.
Scan and email to board. All right. We had 2 customers request. Shoot, I was hoping John would be here when we talked about Mozino. In correspondence, you have a request that this property has 2 accounts, 2 services, but only 1 meter going into the building, I believe. Or 1 service going to the building
Is
that
this-
splits.
Is this the one where Tim Ring lives in?
Yes.
Yeah, there's 1 meter going to the downstairs, I believe.
Alright, are you talking Ted Mozino? Is that
Ted
one?
Mozino,
Yeah,
yes.
there's no meter, then nobody lives in the upstairs apartment.
Okay.
They have continued to be billed.
Have they ever contacted the village to have it shut off?
Tim has spoken to me a couple times, and I referred him to the board, or referred him to let Mr. Mazzino know that he needed to contact the board. I believe this is the first time we had written from Mr. Mazzino to the board.
So, if you
He's
guys have-
looking for forgiveness on the upstairs apartment water bill.
Okay,
We can't go to the previous fiscal year,
no.
that's closed. So we
The
could.
158.33.
Right. That would be what he's looking for forgiveness for, that June 1st bill. And actually, the penalty has now been applied, so it's actually another $15.83 added onto that.
Okay, Jay? Per the water wall, where do we stand in regards, would they not have to notify the village first
That's my understanding, yeah.
and have it shut off, therefore you don't accrue these charges?
But if you shut it off, then the bottom apartment that does have someone in there doesn't
There's,
have water,
there's-
is my understanding.
if I understand it right, there's no shutting it off, there's no line going to
Well,
it.
are both lines connected for both? Like for both apartments, the top and bottom?
No, it's just, I think there's only a bottom line, a bottom
Okay, my
meter.
understanding was if they went upstairs, they could turn faucets on and have water. But nobody is living there.
Okay.
There's only someone in the downstairs. That's the way I understood it. I mean, I could be wrong.
Unless water shut off though, I mean, any type of public utility, you're gonna be charged for it,
Yeah,
right?
if you shut off the top, if you shut it off in order to shut off the top, you're shutting off the bottom too.
So then would it not be laid upon the
Did we charge him
resident?
twice, is what he's saying?
Yes, he gets
Oh.
2 bills.
Right.
One
'cause
for the upstairs and one for the downstairs.
So would it not be laid upon the resident then to fix that part so that they're being billed accurately, so that it's,
There's,
am I correct in that assumption that they ought to change their meter so that they can have, and I don't know if pipes, I don't know, that's,
My understanding, and I could be mistaken on this, and I was talking to Jason about it because he knew the old law and he was the drafter for significant portions of the new one, is that the apartments question is one of the reasons why the new one never got anywhere. And it's unknown how that's supposed to be handled under the old law. At least people thought it was. My thought, and I could be mistaken, I'll reread the law if you would like me to, the old one, is that people can contact to have a new meter put in, but they'd have to have separate, the water services have to be discrete. They can't have water that flows from one apartment to another that bypasses the meter. It has to be in from the meter into that one apartment and no pipes between the two.
okay.
And if he wants to do that, then you could say, hey, and then we'll put a meter in. And the village does put in
Well,
meters for that purpose.
see, we have a lot of apartments in this village that have one meter and lines go to however many apartments. And this apartment in question isn't like that. The bottom apartment has a meter. The top apartment, from what I understood from when I had a conversation with Mr. Ring, was that the other meter doesn't go anywhere. That the numbers haven't changed, that it's not going anywhere. I don't know if it's broke or it's not there. It doesn't register, they get charged the minimum.
And if water is shut off to the top apartment, that's the meter, but if water is shut off at the bottom, does it shut off for the upper as well?
That I can't answer.
Yeah, that would be an interesting question. If there already is a separate meter, one would think there's separate lines and they could
Right.
request it be turned off.
Right. Because they have two meters then, correct?
I don't think so. I think there's just one meter.
I think there's just one meter, the other meter is gone.
You might want to refer to DPW and ask John
I'd
to
have John
have.
go check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
figure
I
out
did
what the
give
problem
him
is.
a copy of the bills and asked him to check into it, he just hasn't been able to connect with Mr. Ring, and I didn't ask him earlier today, so I forgot that I wanted him here so that I could see if he'd managed to connect with him yet.
All right, so we're gonna have John follow up on that one. Okay. All right, and what else do you have, Rose?
I have the, request to forgive the 2,000 gallon overage for, account number 252. I believe I made a copy of the consumption statement for everybody.
Yeah. Has that happened, has that been requested in the past as far as when there's been overage before?
For this specific account?
Yeah.
No, not that I remember. And if you can see, in June of 2011, March of 2012, and June of, this one, are all over the minimum. Otherwise, he's usually under the minimum.
So he had a little overage. It's 2,000 gallons, it's $6.
$6.50.
I mean, does everybody agrees if you're over, you're over?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm just bringing the request.
oh, I know. I'm just trying to make sure that I understand and that I'm not going off into left field on this. So,
Why was he over? He was just over?
He was just over. I don't know if, he ran it because of the cold weather. He was over.
If there's no dispute from the person as to it being an invalid bill or there being a problem with the billing, I don't think you're allowed to grant a waiver of the overage, because that would be a gift of public funds.
correct.
If there's a legitimate dispute over the bill and there's a problem with it, you can settle the dispute. But if there's no dispute that that's the correct billed amount, and there's no policy as to why he had it running, I think your hands are tied.
I would say that.
I don't think you're even allowed to grant the request. Not to be mean, not to be ogres.
I wouldn't say that that's being that way. So then we can't even make a motion to reject it because we can't even.
Well, you could make a motion to reject a motion to inform him that you can't.
Okay. Can I have somebody make a motion to inform
I'll make the motion.
this resident that we are unable to,
I'll second it.
okay? favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved. Anything else, Rose?
I have the Time Warner cable bill. Every year we send them a tax bill.
Yeah.
And every year they send us back a nice letter with a copy of section 626 of the real property tax law that says they're allowed to apply their franchise fee toward their tax bill. So they paid us $5,720 in March, and their tax bill was $2,764. So I need a motion from the board accepting the franchise fee in place of the tax bill.
Can I have a motion for that, please?
I'll make the motion.
And we just as history, we do this every year.
Yeah. And can I have a second?
I'll second.
Did you make the motion?
I did.
Jay, you have a question? You look like you're.
No, I'm just looking at
I'll
it.
take the credit
I
though.
haven't seen it in the past.
Second was
You have it.
Jason.
Jason?
Yes,
Okay.
Being good.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did you say aye?
I said aye.
Okay.
Aye.
It's unanimous, carried and approved. I
Okay.
don't know, I didn't hear, it was
I
very
had
stuff.
something later to
Do you have anything else for us?
The
Madam?
last thing I gave you guys was the schedule on the water law. The shaded entries are what we currently do through the fiscal year.
Oh, yeah.
In regards to the water law, meter reads, billing, penalties. The white entries would be the increases in cost and work for clerk, treasurer, and DPW. I don't know if I got all of the treasurer entries like you would do when new penalties are posted, things like that.
Yeah.
But I tried to include the treasurer's increases as well. And then my estimates on time, I put explanations for my estimates down at the bottom.
Mhm.
And there was just one note about an efficient way to apply the postage charges to the account, because that will take some thinking. So I just, it was requested one of the last meetings, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys saw that that was in there. And that's all I have.
Anybody have anything for Rose? No, for Rebecca? Mr. France, do you have anything for us?
Two things. First of all, as I informed the board, I would recommend that you remove the plowing overtime specification from the contract that you'll have in draft. I would like a motion for that, since you had a motion for the original contract,
Okay.
if you would desire. And I wanted to let you know what the basic synopsis is for passing the local law, what the time frame is, so that you know when you want to do that for the water law.
Okay, so we need to make a motion to remove the plowing out of the contract for John,
Yeah.
okay? I'll make the motion, can I have somebody second that?
I will.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Did everyone say aye? I'm sorry.
be. Never said aye.
Alright, it's unanimous, carried and approved. And then do you have an easement for, the easement,
No.
No? Okay.
No, for the Pet McGee Trail? No, I
Yeah.
haven't reached out to Camden on that.
We want rushing on that.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if we're sitting on it in order to see whether or not there's some way to use it for a grant or,
Yes, that's right.
then, I mean, we can have the easement ready if you want, but it wouldn't take an especially long time once you get a survey, so.
Okay.
Just
And
hold it
then
on the file.
you were talking about the water law?
Yeah, so there's two things you have to do. You have to have a final version of the law on the desk of each of the legislators, that's the 5 of you, for 7 days, not counting the first day it's handed to you, not counting the last day, and not counting Sundays. Then you have to have a notice of a public hearing. That 7-day timeline can go at the same time as the public hearing. You have to have notice that's published in the papers of record that says there will be a hearing on a local law for the water. The local law is available at the offices of the village and can be seen. And then you have to have a public hearing, and it has to be at least 5 days after the notice. So I would recommend that the board pick a date that they want to vote on the water law, and decide before that date, at least one meeting in advance, if there are any changes that you want to make from that point. Then publish the notice, direct Rose to publish the notice. and give it, I would say, the 2 weeks between meetings, that's more than enough time to wait for whatever the publication lag is. If we ask now and it doesn't get published until Thursday, you'll still have your 5 days.
Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry, then you have the notice published, wait 5 days, you have to have a public hearing. At the public hearing, state law is vague, but it says you have to discuss the pros and the cons of the law and allow public commentary. And you do have to allow public commentary at that hearing. The public commentary has to be taken into the record, a record kept on it, and the board can vote at that time if they want to adopt the law as it's written, or they can amend it based on the commentary, and they have to go through the process again, starting at the beginning. The wait in the 7 days for the legislators and the 5 days, notify the public that there will be a hearing and wait at least 5 days before the hearing. But you have to notify when the date is. The public
Okay,
notice has to state what the date will be and when.
when we last discussed the water law, and we went over the revisions, I sent that out to everybody in that meeting.
Right.
So are we able to just go forward to set the date then? To say,
Yes, and I would strongly recommend you send a new version to make sure everybody has the exact same version to look at.
I haven't monkeyed with it at all.
There
Joey and I
were-
have been working on formatting it because so much of it has been added to it and copied and pasted out of different things that the formatting is crazy. Margins and tabs and numbering, and so we took it down to single space, and we're working on the formatting. We're taking your corrections where you change superintendent to operator in charge, that kind of thing. We're fixing those to get a final version of it.
Okay.
There was a couple questions that I have. We talked about questions that I had a year or two ago, and I'm thinking that this is maybe not the final previous version, that maybe Jason had one on his computer that was maybe a version previous to whatever we had finally. Because I had a couple questions that came up when I was looking at it versus the last one I had. And so I don't know if you want to, talk about it at the work session, and then we could start setting the timeline forward for the public hearing.
I'd
like to finish getting, the formatted version done for you with all the corrections and get it all up to date, rather than have this still in process and have us move forward on a public hearing.
Okay, so can you then, would you enjoy being able to get that done this week, do you think?
We would definitely have it done the week after.
Like early next week?
Probably by Wednesday the 22nd at the earliest, because tomorrow is sucked up all day with payroll, paying bills
Okay.
and minutes, and then the end of this week we get ready for the town meeting on Monday.
That's fine, I just wanna make sure that we get it early next week so that everybody can review it, has ample time to review it, so when we come to the board meeting on
On the 27th.
the 27th, we can review it, finalize it, and then set the date and have everything complete.
Okay.
So that's the goal.
So on the 27th, you'll set whatever the date of the public hearing is. And the public hearing, you can set it on a day you already have a meeting. You just make sure the notice is published at least a week before in the paper so that there's lots of time.
Okay.
I mean, the
So we
state
can
law
probably
requires
shoot
5 days.
we can probably shoot for our August meeting then, right? That'd be ample time.
The August 10th, yeah, you'll have loads of time. It meets both the 7-day time period that it has to ripen on legislators' desks and the 5-day period for the notice and comment.
Alright, so. Alright. Do you have anything more for us, sir?
That's it.
That's it, okay. Alright, it's 10 o'clock. Let's go through correspondence quickly. I gotta go back to
You took care of.
I do, I'm sorry. So first off, the correspondence was an email from Mr. Pritchard in regards to a vacancy for trustee, which Mr. Richard fulfilled. Joint planning board, minutes from June 10th. Does anybody have anything to add from what they discussed and went over? We still haven't gone over what they need to do for the law, the amendment that's been sitting on the table for I don't know how long, but
Year and a half.
year and a half? Okay. Time Warner Cable expiring agreements, huh?
Can we talk about that, Time Warner?
No, this is the, what the email we get every month from Time
Oh,
Warner
yeah.
stating, oh, we're dropping this, but you're getting this and all that. We went over the request from Mr. Mazzino, and that's gonna be, put on for later business, discuss with
Yeah, I'm
John.
gonna ask John to check into it so we can update the board.
Okay, New York State Homes and Community Renewal for the project status, report request. Anybody have any issues, any questions on that? That's, okay. The Rite Aid Pharmacy requests to host a free flu clinic. Where do we?
Okay, would they have that in here?
They had one here a few years back, they didn't know what the program was called. I don't know if it was the same program, but they had one down there.
Yeah, we've not done it as a town or village since at least 2009.
I mean, if they're willing to sit in here and do it, and I mean, I don't see an issue. I'm just concerned that they might just think it's gonna be hot for them, but I mean, is this something that, well, I guess it's September, so it may not be too hot. Who knows? Hopefully we have it in Indian summer. Does anybody have any issues of us actually going along with this and doing this?
No. I would make the motion.
If they're gonna be doing the flu clinic, presumably they're giving the flu shots here.
It's a great
So
idea.
Is there some possibility for very rare occurrence of somebody getting injured or being harmed by that? Because if so, the village insurance might not cover it. And I'm not saying don't have the clinic, but have Rite Aid say, all right, if there's a problem with the flu shots, it's on us. They're giving out the shots anyway, so.
So say they
Presumably they
became
have some-
lightheaded and they fell and whatever from
Or
that.
if there's a complication from the flu vaccine, or they're the ones giving it out, they're the ones who should have the liability there. They probably already have some type of coverage. The village might want to look into that.
Okay.
Just ask them, hey, do you have an insurance policy? What is it? We don't mind you giving out flu shots here, that's great, just, as long as nobody sues us because it was given out on our property.
Okay. Rose, can you follow up with Tara in regards to that? To let her know that we're very interested in this, and if we can, if they, like for what Jay just explained, if she will, if Rite Aid will be covering for that, then at the next meeting, we can go ahead and
Okay.
approve of having that. So if you
If they
can,
get back and they say no, let me know, and I'll contact Breeze and see what kind of
Okay.
coverage it is. Because I don't even think that's gonna create.
So I'll rescind that motion for now,
Okay.
based on further info.
Should I enter that motion as rescinded?
should, wait, can we go actually go ahead and go forward with it, and just as long as it's on that line that Rite Aid is liable for
If they
that?
agree to be liable and to indemnify the village, then that's fantastic.
So I rescinded.
Okay,
You
so.
rescind the rescind?
Alright, so so you're making a motion, just to be clear, that we're authorizing for Rite Aid to go ahead and do the free flu clinic. However, though, that they will hold all liabilities per se, and that the village will not if
And
somebody.
they will indemnify and hold harmless the village if anybody sues because of something that happens at the clinic.
Yes.
Either somebody falls or gets hurt.
Can I have a second?
I'll say.
Go ahead. Jason did.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, carried, approved.
Okay, hold on.
I said that.
You sound very tired.
I made 8 motions.
I am too.
I made like 8 motions.
So you're authorizing Rite Aid to hold the free flu clinic at the village hall,
As long as that.
contingent on them indemnifying and holding harmless the village.
You got it. You got it. Next up was the New York State Homeland Security Unified Hazard Mitigation Program. Does anybody have anything to add on that? This doesn't pertain to us. We have no disasters at this point in time. We got paid actually by everything that FEMA was supposed to, so we're actually good. Oh man, I forgot to ask, did you talk to Mr. Brucker about this complaint from?
Last week I talked to him about it, but I didn't get an update on it from him, so I will.
If you could follow up with him, so that we received a complaint that the property of 133
35.
or 135 Jefferson Street, which
Is she
is,
abandoning it or what?
It's the property next to her. She's
It's not her property?
She's the complainant.
Oh,
It's the property
okay.
next to her that
Yeah,
was abandoned, someone bought it, started fixing it up, sold it. The new owner started the water to the property, but seems to have not actually inhabited the building. So once again, we're back up to weeds that are like waist high.
so essentially though, then the village is gonna have to go and mow it and charge,
And
Never
send
mind.
her a letter to, charge her for the time.
ridiculous people will take care of the property. Okay, next is the email from DEC, for the brownfield application and draft work plan. For that, and that's in Olean for that piece of property. Does anybody have anything to add for that? I don't. No? Okay. Zoning Board of Appeals, the minutes, anybody have anything to add to that?
Nope.
Dookie. The FEMA payment that we received from DHS, that's all good. That was the 8,000 amount. Village of Wanda, the intermunicipal agreement that we received, for both parties for signing, both us and Village of Wanda. Oh, and I forgot to ask John about the vac truck. And what's going on with that.
I have one piece of correspondence that we sent to New York State Office of the State Comptroller advising them that you're the new CFO for Youth Council. Have you,
I haven't had a chance to call him.
okay. Are you you're gonna contact them though? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget about that.
Okay, next up is Municipal Solution, the approval for the extension, which we're already good with. Let's jump over that. New York State Department of Public Services, study of telecommunications. Yeah, there's. What's this one? Email from the updates to the CDBG program. Does anybody have anything to add from that? It's not. Email from Environmental Facilities Corps, Water Infrastructure Grants. This is what we were talking about, right?
Yep.
Is this that's the
20
mother?
million.
Alright. That's a good one. So we're already good with that. That's what we were applying for. From Cattaraugus County, notice of administrative hearing. We paid the fine for the $150, so we're not going into a hearing. Since there's no way we can fight it, that we were in violation.
That's for the water.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's, is this the one that, this is the one we're gonna have to send stuff out to the public in regards to, correct? No?
No, not this one.
Not this one?
No, I didn't see anything in there about public notification.
Okay, good. But just, well, it's not good, but I mean, people ought to know what's going on with the water and that we received violations because we didn't have water sent, for the previous months. That's all taken care of though, so we shouldn't be in, what's the word? We shouldn't be in, violation for that going forward.
Is that for 1 month or 3 months?
That was for what? We got 3.
It's for 3 months that we were in violation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
April, May,
reports
June.
were not done.
And then also,
Previously.
right. And then also, after we get done with correspondence.
Yeah, I'm talking to myself.
You're good though.
Keep going.
Okay, and then also, just so everybody knows, in regards to the water, I think I mentioned it before, but we had issues with turbidity not being recorded. That issue has been resolved as well, but more than likely, we're gonna receive violations from that as well.
Oh.
Cattaraugus County notice, that's what we just went over. Petition regarding the local gross, receipt tax. Does anybody have any questions from that from NICOM, that was sent out?
Are they requesting signatures from localities on that, or?
It's open for public comment, and they encourage you to submit comments online in support of the petition.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and then we got what? USDA, Community Economic Development Funding Forum. Is anybody gonna attend this?
I can't.
Is anybody able to attend this? Either of you two? No? I don't believe I'm gonna be able to attend this one either.
Where is it?
It's in Olean at the JCC.
Oh, it's at Jamestown, right?
No, it's in Olean at the JCC campus, so.
Jamestown Community College.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
I knew what I was saying.
See what's on
No, it
the,
just wasn't coming out.
see what's on the menu.
Okay, alright, so. That's taken care of. We went over the DEC water annual report, we talked about that with John, and that's getting taken care of. And then the last but not least, which we already discussed as well, was the resignation of Mark Reed from the zoning board of appeals. Okay, so that's all correspondence. Completed.
So I'll make a motion for a 7.5-minute recess.
7.5 minutes.
Oh, shit.
We need an extra 30 seconds to get back.
Can I, is there a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll second.
Alright, Jason
Oh, I
second.
thought you meant, do we have a second? Yeah, all in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved.
So if somebody says